Hello lovelies, I'm Angela and this is Parisienne Farmgirl. Bienvenue and welcome to my channel. Today I am sharing with you something that I have wanted to for so long, but I just needed a few months to pull it all together. Today I'm sharing with you the new conservatory. Now, when we bought this house almost 4 years ago, I was very intrigued because it's an eco house, so there are 2 stories of greenhouse on the front of the house. However, this space was not being used to its fullest potential. It had Berber carpeting over awesome wood floors. It had white indoor-outdoor paneling on the walls and a very orange, light-absorbing cedar ceiling. So, I had a vision for a British-style conservatory. I was going to use it like an orangery and take my citrus trees in and out from summer to winter. And then this past March, I visited New Orleans and stayed in a French Quarter mansion that had an incredible brick courtyard with maidenhair ferns coming out of the cracks and tropical plants and a fountain. And my vision for this first-story greenhouse became razor sharp focused. I wanted to take that fabulous experience in New Orleans, combine it with my vision for a British orangery conservatory, and create an incredible space that I could enjoy year-round, but especially during those long northern Wisconsin winters. Now, if you've spent any time on the channel and you like the style that you find here, then I invite you to become a member of my Old World Design Society. You will receive a quarterly publication. Right now we are sharing the Holiday Harvest Edition and have a special offer on the website where you can receive the Summer Edition as well. You will also receive 3 to 4 design classes with me per quarter, and we have a private forum where you and I and hundreds of other people can spend time together. These are professional and amateur designers alike. So if you love old world style, antiquing, thrifting, old European architecture, this is the space for you. So visit oldworld.parisiennefarmgirl.com or simply check out the link in this video description. Now I'm going to dial back the clock and show you some clips that maybe you've seen here before on the channel, but I want to take you back to just about the very beginning of this space so you can see the progress that we made to get to this moment right now, and then we're going to do a full conservatory tour. Here is the beautiful indoor-outdoor white paneling that was on the first story greenhouse and upstairs in my bedroom on the second story. Behind that window is the kitchen sink. So Joel cut into the wall to put this fabulous concrete sink that we found. It's wonderful because I do use the space as a greenhouse. So right now, what you'll see in a few minutes, it's decked out with all my houseplants, but come February, this will be the place that I start all my seeds for the gardening season. Deconstructing this space took a ton of work. All the trim and baseboard was rough-hewn cedar, just like the ceiling, so it's really splintery, and it was full of dust and hair. It was just gross, and it was dropped down behind the planks going into the basement, so it was a pain to get out. Some of us were very helpful.
Here we go, Mom, for you.
It was definitely a family effort. All the brick paneling was carried in, and once all the trim was gone, we started in on measuring and placing it. There was also rough-hewn cedar up around each beam, if you see up there in the corner. And I really wanted the brick to go to the ceiling so that the beams looked like they were set in it. Joel was very happy about that. No, he was not happy about that. But I really wanted to go all the way if we were going to do this project. I wanted to do it right. I was so inspired by the colors in New Orleans that I went with this vibrant green. But I wanted this to just pop against the houseplants and, of course, against the backdrop of the snow, which will be there for the better part of the year. Now let's talk about this faux finish. I went with the brick paneling because brick veneer was not affordable. We had the initial challenge of making sure that the brick paneling would be safe for the family. This kind of paneling does have some off-gassing. So we found a safe product, and I will list that in the blog post that corresponds with this video. And we sealed all of this paneling with that product to eliminate the off-gassing that occurs from the synthetic materials. And I wanted to then create the look of an old brick wall. I wanted it to look like a really bad tuck pointing job, like this wall had been there forever. So I purchased concrete repair. So it's a bucket that you can get, and it's like a concrete repair kit. And I mixed it with the amount of water so that the consistency was that it wouldn't drip off the wall while I was working. And that did present its challenges along the way. I had to get a feel for it. Here's that product right here. You can find it at any hardware store. And there is the sink that Joel installed for me when you saw him cutting into the wall a few minutes ago. It's so convenient to not have to go around to the kitchen when I am watering all my plants and all my seedlings. You can mix this concrete repair in a bucket and take a knife or a trowel, and I simply skimmed it over this brick and just helped make it dingy. Once it dries gray. It was very helpful for covering the seams where the paneling butts together. So I made it really heavy in those areas. On certain walls, I applied it to sort of represent the way the lights hit on the wall. So when the sun comes in on one of the walls, for example, it makes a shadow on the right side of the brick, if that brick would be actual authentic brick. And I think that really added to the look of this space, actually looking real. I had someone come over and I showed her the walls and I said, "This used to be white paneling." And she screamed. She said, "Oh my goodness, you found this brick under the paneling?" And I knew at that moment, that's when I had nailed it.
So my first suggestion would be maybe hire a carpenter, because it was quite the process. I had to cut around all the beams, and I had to measure every beam and every this and every that, and it was a lot of work. So you can see I'm comfortable now because I'm actually painting. I have a paintbrush in my hand, which actually made me happier than you would ever know right now because I'm actually good at this. Carpentry work, but Angela's happy, so I guess we can all be happy with that. So I'm happy that the paneling's done. Now I got to finish the painting, and then I have to put baseboard up. I have to paint that, and Angela has to faux finish all the paneling still. So it's been quite a project. I'll be glad when it's actually complete.
So as Joel hung the paneling and painted, I was hot on his tail, coming up behind. And I had my bucket and my knife, and it was extremely labor intensive. In fact, when you see the after footage in a few minutes, you'll see there's a few places I forgot to catch with that concrete repair kit. And you'll also see on one of the walls there is some white. So I used some joint compound, and in the future I will be adding a little bit more of that. And that was also from the inspiration from the New Orleans courtyard, because there was plaster on some of that brick that had fallen away, and I wanted to create that sort of a look.
You're welcome, Mom.
This space is about 97% finished. There's still some trim and casing on back order, like so many other things in the world right now. I'm going to add a little bit more of that white joint compound to look like the plaster has fallen away. But this space reminds me so much of New Orleans. I can hardly take it in. There were so many old flags in New Orleans and so many art galleries and antique stores. So much greenery. This place takes me there. This is where I draw and paint in the evenings. It's also the space where I work out because the view to the garden is amazing. And I've been blessed to be able to bring so many of my tropical plants in from the courtyard area. And to expand my houseplant collection, it is going to be an amazing source of comfort and nourishment and encouragement during the long winters. This book is a treasure. I found it at a local antique store. The colors I thought were incredible for this space, so I put it on the easel. This is another piece of German artwork I found at a local shop. And this is a really an inspiring place for me to be able to sit and draw and hear the waterfall. There's my gym equipment on the right. So of course it's feels very chic to work out in this room in the mornings. And I feel so profoundly blessed to have a greenhouse in my house. I am so aware that this is just beyond the normal architecture of a home. This strange, strange home that sat empty for 5 years in the North Woods of Wisconsin, just waiting for the right person to come along and look beyond the 1980s wallpaper and the ancient appliances and all the rough-hewn cedar and see the potential. And I feel very privileged to be the person to get to use this house as a palette for self-expression and creativity. And I'm just so honored to be able to make something beautiful for my family and myself. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really, really appreciate the time that you spend here with me. We will spend a lot more time in this space this upcoming winter. Be sure that you are a member of the Old World Design Society. You can do that by clicking this white circle right here. I'd love for you to spend some more time on the channel. You can do that by clicking this playlist right here. Be sure that you've subscribed. Turn on the bell for notifications so that you get a little notice every time we bring you new content. And I will see you again very soon. A bientôt.